Hi, Rob here from 180 Strength in Bournemouth, and today we're looking at mobility to help you get into the correct squat position. So I'm here with James, and we are looking at his ability for shoulder flexion and getting a bar down to his shoulders with a neutral spine. So we've got a nice wall here as a datum. James's job is to try and get his back flat into the wall. So James, do you want to do that for us first? Yep. Got his knees slightly bent, he's rolled away from the wall, and he's just going to lay his back onto the wall. Yep. Okay, shoulders back onto the wall. Going to hold the bar at the ends. Looking for that slight external rotation of the shoulders. There we go. And James's job is to try and take this bar up and touch the wall. There we go. Now, start to see a slight arch appearing in the back, okay, which is what we don't want. We want him to be able to be up here with a flat back. James, try and take the bar down to your shoulders. Yeah, I lost it. Okay, go, keep going down, and there we have a little gap appearing in his back. Down to your shoulders if you can. And the posture has changed from a neutral spine into an arch. So we're looking at squat mobility, and we have Kevin here who's going to demonstrate a squat, but he has got tight calf muscles. So calf muscles limit how much flexion you have in your ankle, and you'll see how it will affect his squat. So Kevin, I want you to try and keep your heels on the floor and see how low you can get and see what happens. Okay, so that last little drop there is because Kevin can't flex forward his knees slightly and close this angle off. So his only option is to just fall back away from ankle flexion. Kevin, do you want to try and do a squat onto the bench now? And I'm going to allow you to raise your heels if you need to. That's it. So he's slightly raised his heels off the ground, which has reduced the need to flex here, which means he can get into a full squat. So our job here with Kevin is to increase calf length to allow this angle to close so he can squat more successfully. So your ability to flex at the hip is a real, can be an inhibitor to your ability to squat. And this can be due to tension in the front of your body in your hip flexor muscles. And that's like having a ball in the way of you hip flexing. So what's going to happen is you go into a squat, this ball is not going to allow you to close, so the only thing you can do really is to start to round in the back. So you start to get a lumbar spine roll there. So we need to get rid of the tension in the front of the body. Okay, so to help you get to a squat position, we're going to look at increasing shoulder flexion. A nice way to do this, which is going to create some movement and therefore some heat, is to get a bar or a broom pole. This happens to be the same length as the internal width of a powerlifting bar. So I have my hands at the end. I'm going to rotate my shoulders down so my elbows come through. And I'm going to rotate as far as I can with straight arms. What we don't want to see is an arch in the back. So if I arch my back, it now appears I can go further, whereas if I straighten my back, actually it's not true. So, one place you can do this is against a wall until you get to the point where you are touching the wall. Then you have to make sure you're aware of what a neutral spine is, make sure you're not arching. And that would be a nice way to warm up the shoulders. So to improve your hip flexion and thus enabling you to squat better, we're going to stretch out the hip flexor muscles in the front of your hip, which is going to tighten out like a blockage and cause you to round your lower back. Alright. So we're going to start by kneeling down. Once there, I'm going to have this hip over the back knee and then move this foot forwards with the front knee. Secondly, we're going to squeeze the bum muscle. That's going to bring my hips square to that front leg. And then making sure my hips are underneath my shoulders, squeeze that bum muscle. You might already get a stretch in your thigh at this point. Okay. We're going to push forward with that bum muscle. And I've already got a stretch through here. Hold for 10 seconds. And back out. And repeat. And I do that on each side. Okay, about 5 times. Now, we can also try and mobilise this joint, the hip capsule, by using a band to distract this stretch. So we've got a band secured to something nice and sturdy. So I'm going to step into the band with my right leg and pull the band right up to where your bum muscle meets the back of your leg. Hold that with both arms. I'm going to put my other foot back slightly, and then I'm going to quickly go down into a kneeling lunge. Okay, so you get down there quickly because otherwise you're going to get pulled forward. So now I'm pressing away from the ankle point with my front leg. And this is just giving a bit of tension and allowing the hip capsule to just release and move a bit more freely. So we're going to do the same stretch that we've just done. So squeeze the butt muscle, really keep that nice and firm, and lunge into the stretch. We don't want to see too much arching of the back. And sometimes I like to stay there for about 10 seconds as well. Just hold that stretch. Keep squeezing the bum muscle, and these muscles in the front of the hip get extended. When you finish, gather the band in one hand, bring the front foot forward slightly, and then stand up, making sure not to hit the post. Okay, so working on calf flexibility to help with your ankle flexion, we can use a yoga move, which I'm sure many of you know already, which is a downward dog. I'm not a yoga enthusiast, but I do delve into it from time to time to help me. So this is what I do. Start on all fours, push your hips into the air, and back onto your heels. And then we can just, with light pedaling motion, pushing your heels to the floor, try and get more flexion. You can experiment with how far apart your hands and feet are. So get a nice pull, and also the movements just help us generate some heat into your calf muscles. You can also check and see how any of you make any improvements in your flexibility. So you can find a wall. I've got a box here, and you're looking for between 4 to 6 inches between your toes and your box, keeping your heel on the floor and being able to touch the box. That's a mark of good ankle flexion. If, for example, you're here and you can't get to there, then this muscle, the calf muscle and the cervical muscle, are a bit too tight. So another way to help you get into the right squat position and to help with shoulder flexion is to lie on the floor. I'm going to lift my legs, and I'm going to just peel my lower back off the floor, and then make sure the whole back is flat on the floor, knees nice and bent with flat feet. Okay, so there's no arch in my back, and I'm going to lie down. Shoulders pinned back, hands go together over the belly button. Okay, it's a good test of wrist flexion actually. And then I'm going to, as soon as I can, I'm going to join my elbows. Now, this might be a test for you already, trying to get your elbows together. Get them as close as you can, and then push north and keep them together for as long as possible without allowing the back to arch. And when you can go no further, peel them back to the floor and down. Okay, and you can see as I come down, my wrist wants to come away from the floor. So the floor again is a nice datum. If I were to arch my back, I'll be able to go further. There we go. But that's not true reflection of shoulder flexion, whereas if I have a flat back, that is. Okay, so go through that motion about 10 times would be a nice way to warm up.